Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Miriam if this is your first time coming on here. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing 6 pathways you can use to relocate to Canada from the UK as an international student that ended their education in the UK. Either after your education in the UK, let's say you went to do your master's and you want to transition from there to Canada. You don't want to go back to Nigeria to do all the process again, or either you're in the UK temporarily or permanently and you decide to move to Canada. So in this video, it's gonna be 6 pathways you can use to move to Canada from the UK as a student or someone there permanently and just want to relocate and just want to look at the options. And this will include relocation like temporary or permanently. So let's get straight into it. And before I go, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please make sure you do. I put out content weekly regarding relocation to Canada and sharing my experience having lived in UK, France, Nigeria and Canada. So if you're interested in something like that or you have any specific questions, please make sure you leave it in the comment section for me. Just a disclaimer before I continue, no, I am not an immigration officer or agent, so I won't be able to answer to all your questions and I won't be able to take you one-on-one to answer your particular situation and to answer your particular question regarding your specific situation. Just leave the question in the comment section below. I can reply if I know the response, or someone in the comment section below might be able to help you reply. So if you're a student, you've gone to the UK to study, do your master's or whatever education you've gone to do, and you're thinking of coming to Canada, the first way you can use is express entry. I've talked about express entry program on this channel before. I'm going to leave the link in the description box below so you can click and go watch that video if you haven't watched it. I explained how to process your express entry yourself, how to do it without using an agent, and it's quite straightforward, so we'll give you more details about that. But just to give you a quick summary, express entry program has 3 different pathways in itself alone. I've got my notes in front of me so I don't forget what I want to say. So the first one is a federal school program is under express entry. Again, all the links are going to be in the description box below so you can click and read more about it. And the second one is Canadian experience class. And then you have federal school program. I know most Nigerians use the federal school program a lot. I think again it depends on your situation or your background or your degree and how you qualify. So just know under express entry program there are 3 pathways that you can use. And what are the requirements briefly to qualify for the express entry? One, you have to do an English test, which is going to give you a score that they will add into all your other scores. You have to have minimum of 2 years working experience. You have to have at least a bachelor's degree and be less than 45 years old. You have to have a clear medical examination that you've done and have a clean criminal history. That will help you a lot. So by the time they do all the calculation and all the points and in your English test, try to get the highest score possible and all of that stuff, it will give you a CRS score, which is gonna be what you will use to get into a pool. And every 2 weeks they do a draw where they tell the scores that they draw for. If you qualify, they will send you an invitation to apply and submit all your documents and everything, and then you move forward from there. That's express entry in a nutshell. The second one is IEC Program, is International Experience Canada. Again, I have a video on this IEC program on my channel, which I'm going to be linking in the description box below. It's basically a program where you get a work permit, open work permit to come to Canada for 2 years, I think, and you would be able to work and do all of that It is not tied to any particular company, so you're able to get like an open work permit to live and work in Canada as a temporary resident. However, the clause about this is you need to be from a country that is accepted or can participate in this program, meaning mostly they're like European countries. So this program is kind of tailored to Europeans that want to come and explore Canada. Like, I used this program once. I tried to use this program before moving because I'm a French citizen, so I had access to use the program. It's basically straightforward. You have to have like European passport or be part of countries that exempted and can participate in this program. Again, the link will be below so you can check out if your country is part of these countries. You have to be between the age of 18 and 30 years old to be able to participate in this IEC program. You have to have a good health examination, and you have to have a travel valid health insurance that covers you for the period of the time that you want to stay. So for this IEC, the tricky part is, depending on your passport, the length of your passport, that's what they will give you. So if your passport is going to expire in 6 months, they will give you for 6 months. So when you're doing it, try to know like when your passport is going to expire, because that's the duration they will give you for. And your travel insurance, you have to do it for the whole of that period that they're giving you for. So if the IEC program, you've been accepted into it and they give you like the work permit for 2 years, you have to do a travel health insurance for 2 years that cover it for the whole time that you're going to be staying in Canada. I know you can renew it when it expires, or when you're done with the 2 years, you can transition from there into permanent residence and go on another program if you want. Or if not, if you think, oh, 2 years, I'm done, I want to go back to my country, then you go back. Again, as an European, for you to come and explore Canada temporarily, let's say to visit, you don't need a visa. You can come for 6 months, but if you want to work and live like a resident in Canada, you would need the IEC program because it gives you a work permit and you can apply for the OEP and just live as a normal permanent residence holder. So that's the second program. Another program that might be very interesting for maybe, again, if you finish your education in the UK and you want to move to Canada, is the Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program. So this is a provincial program that only includes Prince Edward Island, Newfoundland, Labrador, New Brunswick and Nova Scotia. So note this Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program only includes certain provinces, and I think one of the conditions is you have to be in this province, like you cannot go elsewhere. You have to land in this province and maybe live there for a couple of years before you actually think if you want to move to Ontario or somewhere else. And under this program, there's 3 sub-programs under the Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program, which are the Atlantic High Skilled Program, the Atlantic Intermediate Skilled Program, and the Atlantic International Graduate Program. So this will be very, very interesting if you've just finished your education in the UK and you want to move to Canada and you don't mind going to some certain provinces that are not as popular as Ontario or Alberta, then go for it. You don't have to wait to go to Toronto, like the popular places. You can actually apply for this one. The next one I'm going to be mentioning is Quebec Immigration. So Quebec Immigration is basically, again, like provincial, it's just that you have to go to Quebec. Like, again, there's an agreement for you to, one, be under the age of 40, have a bachelor's degree minimum, and have at least 2 years previous work experience, and you need to have a score of at least 50 and be ready to live in Quebec. Remember, in Quebec, their main language is French, so if you don't speak French or if you're not interested in learning French, this might be a bit difficult for you. But if you're someone that you speak French or you're interested in learning, then this might be a good program for you. And again, it's to be under 40. that's a wide range. Like, let's say you've already passed like 30, because express entry, once you're over 30, you start losing points every year. Yeah, every year you start losing points. But look at the Quebec Immigration is giving you up to 40. So if you're 37, you can still apply, but just know that there's a language barrier that you need to consider. So another way you can use to move to Canada is if you are a business owner or you have so much money you can use to start up a business, you can use the business immigration. So under business immigration, you have the startup visa investor program, and you have the entrepreneur program, you have the business PMP program, and the self-employed persons program. So what are the requirements for these programs that you can apply for? For the startup visa program, you need to have a business, you need to speak English and French, have a knowledge of English and French, and you need a letter of support from a designated institution to show funding, and you need to show proof of funds to live in Canada. Basically, those are the major things that you need, apart from your other document that you probably have already. And for the entrepreneur program, you need to invest or establish a business in Canada within 2 years after arriving in Canada. You need to show active and ongoing business management, and you need to employ one or more Canadian citizens or permanent residents who are not related to you. So that's the entrepreneur program under the business immigration program. And for the self-employed program, you need to have relevant experience in minimum 2 years in the recent 5 years. You need to have proof of ability and willingness to self-employed. You need to score minimum 35 points, I'm guessing in the program or in the scores that they calculate for the program. You need to have 0 criminal records and be in good health. So they might be asking you for health examination as well. Just like most of the programs in Canada that you want to apply for, they will ask you to go and do some health checkup and bring some certificate to certify that you're in good health. So lastly, for the business PMP program, I would say this under business immigration program as well, is the requirements are you need to be making specific monetary investments that are unique to province and territory. You must have a detailed business plan. You must meet minimum personal net worth. You must have previous business management experience and meet the age, language, and character and health requirement that they will ask you in addition. So all this business immigration program is majorly have lots of money and have a business that is functioning. So if you already have like an established business, you don't have to wait to just do express entry. You can actually use one of this program, or if your parents are rich and they can invest in you and give you some money and give you some cash to bring to the country, then go for it. Like all this program, they don't always have like so much, it's not overly saturated like express entry or like the other programs, because they're quite niche and they require lots of capital. So if you know that you have the capital, this is something that you can actually take advantage of. Lastly, for immigration pathway that you can use is family class immigration, and this is more like a sponsorship. So the person that is sponsoring you needs to be a Canadian permanent resident holder, resident, and or a citizen of Canada. So you can either have like your husband sponsor you, or your wife sponsor you, or your sister sponsor you. This is the program that I used. My husband sponsored me, so I came into the country as a visitor, because as European I can come and stay for up to 6 months, and then I applied for spousal sponsorship, which means my husband, permanent resident of Canada, sponsored me. And this pathway, the way I did it, I have a video about my own case. I'll link it in the comment section below so you can go and watch it. I wouldn't advise you come in as a visitor before applying for sponsorship, because then I was in the country for for a long period I couldn't work because I didn't have a work permit. I was only here as a visitor. I tried to do the IEC to get open work permit and then from there do like sponsorship, but at the time I was doing that, it was during the pandemic, so the IEC program was closed temporarily, so I couldn't do that. I was forced to come in as a visitor. That's a bit tricky because then that means you're not making money in the UK, you're not making money in Canada. But it would be advisable, let's say you work remotely and you still have your work in the UK, then feel free to come while you process your sponsorship. And the good thing about sponsorship is you can stay in the country as long as you submit all you've submitted all your application, and you can stay in the country until you get a response. That means until they either approve your application or they reject it. So you're on that impaired status, which means you're waiting for a response, and you can stay as long as until they reply you, basically. So yeah, those are the different ways that you can use to relocate to Canada from the UK, either as a student, as a family, or as a single person. Let me know what you think about this video, if it's very informative for you. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to share, like, comment, and let's chat in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.